guys, Courtney Mermaid here, and welcome to a very special episode of Mermaid Workshop. In this video, I am going to be answering a very important question that I totally meant to answer in a Tail Talk Tuesday and completely forgot. So this is in response to a question from, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, is it Ava or Eva? You had asked me about vinyl fringe for your mermaid tail, and I've got a lot of information to share. So if that sounds good, let's get down to it. Okay, so the question was, I believe originally, it was you already had a tail and you wanted to add vinyl fringe to it. Now, there are pros and cons to modifying an existing tail. For those of you who are new to my channel, let me just start off by saying I work with fabric. So all of my tails are fabric, and they are hand painted with screen printing ink, and then embellished with sequins, and I add in a vinyl fringe. Sometimes I add in dorsal fins, pectoral fins, and that kind of thing. So that's my specialty. If you're looking for answers to anything silicone tail related, feel free to leave me a question in the comment section below, and though I may not be able to answer it, I may be able to direct you to where you need to go. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys my first, not my first tail, this is my second painted tail. This is Miranda. And this was a tail, you'll have to forgive, her fringe is doing something funny because she hangs on the wall in the hallway, so gravity is starting to wear on her. She's retired, right? So I don't use this tail anymore. But this was a tail that originally had nothing here. So this tail had flippers that didn't fit my feet. They were size 10, not size 11, and I need size 11. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up pulling up all of the glue, because these flippers, this is flippers, they're glued in here. And so what I did was I actually peeled all of this back and made a huge mess. Then I stretched it out and stuck in bigger flippers. So these flippers are about this much bigger than the old flippers that were in here. You can see in older videos me swimming in this tail before it had the fringe, and then I added the fringe. So the only difference between this tail and my newer tails, these guys here, is that these flippers do not come out, which was a real pain because it made drying this thing and keeping it clean with no mold or anything was a real pain in the butt. I had to be really thorough. I had to hang it, then I had to rotate it because there's the holes here, and then there's where the foot pockets here. So though it was doable, it was only doable really because I glued, like this isn't sewn in, it's all just glued in. So if I pull hard enough, I can actually peel this back. But you don't do that. You be nice to your mermaid tails, okay guys? Or later versions of my mermaid tails, as I have learned, and I've adapted and made changes, I came up with a way of doing it. And I've tried everything. I've tried buckles, I've tried snaps, I've tried sewing it directly in, which is not a good idea. And then I've come up with what works for me the best, and I will leave a link in the description below of the videos in my Mermaid School series talking specifically about the vinyl fringe, where I actually show how to trace it out, how to cut it out, how to sew in your Velcro, and then how to glue it in finally. It's a bit of a process, but it is doable. Now, the question was if you had already had a tail and you were gonna take it apart, and it'll work best if your tail is just straight across the bottom. So what I do is I cut it to the shape of my monofin. You don't have to do that. You can have this be any shape you want at the bottom, but the key point is that you have enough room left on your existing tail to have a space. I'm just gonna let the sirens pass. Okay, so that's the important part. So the important part is that you leave yourself enough room that you have the overlap where the Velcro is gonna be, and that way you have a lot of space, because you do wanna glue in a significant portion of this, because gluing it, just give it a second. So because you're gluing in plastic is never gonna be 100%. It's never gonna be totally secure. I do myself have to make touch-ups to this tail as well as to Wanda. They both have to get touched up occasionally. Wanda hasn't yet had a major issue, which has been really nice. I found a really good way to do this one, so I was really happy with that. My goodness, what is the world? Is it the apocalypse? We're all paranoid whenever we hear fire trucks because we had a huge fire in our complex. Like, we're talking burned to a crisp.
It was scary. Hi guys, bye guys.
Get out, I'm filming!
Hi guys.
Go on dogs, go. Okay. So yeah, there are some do's and don'ts, but the main point is that because you've sewn, hang on, let me just use the industrial stuff, right? So it stays really strong. The idea is that because this Velcro actually gets sewn into the plastic, okay, is that the thread on the other side, when you glue the fabric down to this, is it actually glues to those patches of thread and actually helps to reinforce the whole situation. So that's the key. So if you have an existing tail and you would like to add fringe to it, you've already been using it. However you finished it at the bottom will need to be opened. Okay, so it'll need to be just flaps. Like the fabric will just need to be open. This one had a little bit of an issue there, but let me show you on, here we go. So you'll leave a portion of the fabric apart and open so it gives you space to sew in your Velcro to have a really nice finished edge. So it is definitely doable. It's risky, so it's gonna depend on if you made the tail yourself and you're brave and you've done this before and you've practiced. Otherwise, I would suggest actually do practice. Get some scrap pieces of material, practice sewing the Velcro into the vinyl, do some tests first to make sure you're happy with it. It can be a really difficult thing. And let me also give you guys a little bit of a rundown on the actual Velcro I use to adhere to the vinyl. So the vinyl fringe that I use, okay, it's from IKEA. This is what it is. This is the thing that it's called. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not even gonna try. It's Canadian dollars. I think I get it for, it's under $8. I think it's like 6 something, but with taxes and whatever. So let's just say $8 because that, you know, Canadian. And it's shelf liner. Mermaid Kim's tail, we actually used a shower curtain, vinyl shower curtain material that turned out really nice. It was able to be painted because it had some texture. It actually held the paint really well. So as far as the Velcro goes, now, if you're somebody who sews and you know what kind of a bad idea it is to use glue and run it through your sewing machine, don't judge me. There isn't a better way that I found to do this. So if you guys have discovered a better way to do this, I would love to hear it because I've been making tails for forever and this is the only way that I found to do it, but it's gummed up my machine so badly I've had to take it in for some repairs. So my machine is currently not here, which is kind of sad. It's just a big space over there where my machine used to be. What this is Velcro, okay? Right? So it's a 2-inch thickness, and what it has on each side is adhesive. So this is actually tacky, like it's sticky. So the reason I use this is because...
Good boy, Heather.
Okay, so that was the next set of fire trucks that had to go by. Am I ever gonna film this in peace? Probably not, but here we go. So the reason I use it with the adhesive on the back is because it's really, really hard to baste. My God, is because it's really hard to hand sew through this vinyl. So I stick it down, that holds it in place. Then you fold the two pieces. I've got full videos on this. If you look in the description box below, I'll put all the videos to all the ones that I talk about and how I show how to do this. But the idea is that you sew it and the pieces accurately fit together nicely like this so that there's no thinking involved because you lay it down nicely first, you put the other piece on top, done. Mostly I just wanted to answer the question in this, how to actually go about if you already have a tail and you wanted to add vinyl fringe to it. Really, you just need to ask yourself if you have the space to do it, do you have enough extra room to allow for 1 inch to 2 inches 2 inches is ideal, because then it, like, this doesn't open. When I swim, this does not come apart. Like, okay? It does not come apart. So that's the goal. Do you have enough space? It's gonna depend also what kind of monofin you're using will make a difference. Is it something that you could cut to if you don't have room, can you cut your monofin down? But that's a bit more of an extreme solution. That's probably not my preferred method. And otherwise, everything else is just the same. Everything else will be the same. You may have to make some modifications to your tail. You may have to cut. So mine are all sewn. Excuse me. Mine are all sewn to here. This part is open, but it's still fabric, right? You allow for that overlap to help hide the seams. You don't want to have these, it's gonna be a bit hard for you to see. I don't know if see this here? You don't want that showing on the other side. That's why I sew it into this and then glue it into the fabric. So it's a clever little trick. I was really happy that I kind of figured that out. It was a lot of trial and error. Like on, here, I'll show you Bluefish. So Bluefish just has a dry land fin in it right now, so it's not a full monofin in here right now. But what I did, this was the first tail that I attempted to do something like this on, and you can see, there you can actually see what kind of thread that I've used. I also used snaps. The snaps were an absolute waste of time. They do not hold at all. Do not use snaps, it's a total waste of time. But you can see where I had some issue with the size of the fin, because this is an exact trace of my actual monofin. I needed a lot more thickness to the Velcro than this. This was not enough. Not enough by a long shot. But these are the things that you learn. So with trial and error. And that's hopefully why you've come across my channel, because I like to help you guys, because I've been doing this for, you know, I've been swimming in mermaid tails for 10 years. I've been on YouTube for 6 years. I've, you know, the trial and error, and I've figured things out. So hopefully that's answered your question. I am so sorry that that didn't get answered in that Tail Talk Tuesday. That was absolutely my bad. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Tail Talk Tuesday is my Tuesday live stream where I answer tail making questions, mermaid related problems you might have, just mermaid related questions in general, and anything about sort of the mermaid world as it were. Yeah, so that's a perfect time if you are following any of my tutorials and you have specific questions. That's a great time to pop on. It's every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, and it's a great time for you guys to have some one-on-one with me to get those questions out there. And then if I don't have time, or if I feel like it needs to be a more in-depth, then I'll do a video like this on a special workshop Wednesday. So right now, I don't have a sewing machine, which is why actually I thought this would be a great video to put on my workshop Wednesday, just because I'm in my workshop. But mostly I don't have my sewing machine right now. So I'm waiting patiently, and hopefully it's not gonna cost me an arm and a leg. But that stuff, that Velcro, use it at your own discretion, okay guys? This will gum up your machine, so don't come back to me and say, hey, it gummed up my machine. I'm letting you know now, this will gum up your machine. But if you take good care of your machine, you bring it in for servicing, a little bit of oil to get off any excess goo and that kind of thing, then you should be okay. Anyways, that is gonna wrap up this week's workshop Wednesday. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you found it useful at all, please feel free to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel out when you do that. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because I do more content like this. My goal is to help you guys unleash your inner mermaids, you know, bring in some mermaid magic. Find that mermaid voice, if you will. And so I like to show you guys what it's all about, give you guys tips and tricks, mermaid swimming videos, other fun content. So definitely hit that subscribe button so I can see you guys in the next video. And on that note, happy swimming, happy tail making. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Okay, bye!